Hey, so
Hey,
man,
yes.
how are
Finally,
you?
we made it happen. I'm happy. I'm good, man. I'm good. Finally, I was. Oh, it's so good to see you, man.
Yeah, so
Good
good to see
energy.
you too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it just feels like yesterday. I still remember the first time I met you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Definitely. Like
it was.
sitting.
Uh, yeah, it is something that I'll never forget. Because of two main reasons. Number one is, um, so when I first met you, right, it was very early stages of my career as a coach, and
Mhm.
seeing you and talking to you and looking at your energy, I was reminded about myself like a year ago, and
Mm.
I thought, this guy needs to do NLP. This guy needs to do coaching, otherwise he's going to waste his life. So,
Yeah,
but it's great. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it like you said, man. I think I kind of found myself so much in this whole process,
yeah.
and it really revealed itself to me as I began to work with more people, and I could see how this tool can be such a useful thing to help
Mm,
yourself and help others as well. And
mm,
yeah, to be really honest, it definitely there were other things that helped me go deeper as well, but this
yeah,
became like a really important thing that could help me connect to anyone from any level.
yeah.
So I
Good.
really thankful, not just for that, but for so many other things, and today as well to um, to accepting my invitation, because
My pleasure.
it's time. Time is a very important thing, and I think you're doing really good work. I can see it
Thank you.
on my Facebook as well. So I'm really grateful that you chose to give me some time. Yeah, and yeah, man. So I think as we go along, maybe we'll have a few viewers as well, because this is on my group page. But even
Yeah,
then, we'll have it recorded for them. It will stay on the group itself.
yeah.
So
So,
where
so
I
tell me a little bit.
yeah,
Sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to know.
sorry,
So,
yeah,
one of the things that every time I do something like this, right, whether
yeah,
it's doing a talk or
hmm,
podcast or whatever it might be, the number one question that I always have is who's the audience?
uh-huh,
Because
yeah,
everything that we say, right, as a coach,
uh-huh,
friend, or
yeah,
speaker, it's all
yeah,
about the audience. And
hmm,
it's important for me to know who is the audience
mm,
and what is their
uh-huh,
background and
yeah.
why did they decide to join this group. So if you could tell me a little bit
Mm.
about them. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sure. That's a good question, man. I think for me, my main the people that are here are really the people who are in their mid 20s, maybe even in their late 20s, and many of them are engaged professionally somewhere, some kind of organization where they are lending off their skills, their time, and exchanging money for it.
Yeah.
And But there is a place in them that knows that they want to grow, they want to really explore what it is that they really want, a bigger vision perhaps. And of course there are some who are just starting out, like early 20s, and
Yeah.
just perhaps finishing their university. So in
Yeah.
that range, that's the kind of the people that's there. And the group is named transitioning into your purpose and passion.
Mm.
So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Hmm. So it's
All
more
right.
like
Good.
someone who wants. I think there is someone who's here with us. I would love for you to comment and share this with everyone who you can, and just comment hi or hey, and we'll know you're here with us and enjoying the joining the conversation with us.
You talking to me or the other person?
Yeah, yeah, I think it's the one who I can see on the viewing platform right now.
Because I can't see anyone other than you.
Oh, you can see. I can see because I'm.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. It makes
okay.
sense. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when are we going to start?
Yeah, right now we're going to start right now. Now we're ready. Now that you have a good idea of who you're talking to, I think it'll help
Yeah.
you out as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, definitely,
Okay.
definitely, man. So, I really want to share with start with your story of why why you chose to do what you did, and I have heard that story firsthand, and is a really powerful story, man. And I would love for you to share it with my audience, and and let them know what could be possible if if you have real emotion and passion in your heart.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to start by, first of all, thanking everybody who's going to join us online and watching later, because there could be many people in this group, and only a select portion of people choose to watch it. And they
Mm.
are the ones who actually do something about their life and make a difference. So I want to appreciate them first of all. Now, to answer your question, I have two sides to this answer. Number one is I'll just share the inspiration behind what I'm doing. Not so much about the details about what I do, but the inspiration behind what I'm doing. And the second thing is, what is the one thing that led me to reach there, right? So let's start with the first part. So just to give everybody, just a quick background. So I'm a certified trainer, coach, and international speaker. So my main business is to help new coaches, like somebody like Sumit, coaches to get clients and grow their business so that they can impact other people and make a positive difference in other people's lives. So that is like a one line description about what I do. Now, the inspiration behind this thought was that, like, by degree, I'm an engineer. But it took me 4 years to realize that, oh, I don't want to do engineering. And this could be the case with a lot of people, whatever, degree you have, whether that's engineering, in arts, or, whatever degree you have. One of the major realizations I had was towards the end of my engineering degree, and I was watching this movie called Jobs. It's one of the movie based on Steve Jobs' life. And towards the end of the movie, when Jobs comes back into Apple and he starts meeting the people there, there's a 2 to 3 minute sequence which inspired me quite a lot. And here was the dialogue in that scene. And he says that when you grow up, you tend to get told that life is just the way it is. Your job is to just live your life inside the world, not bash into the walls too much. But everything changes once you realize one simple fact, and that is that what you call life and the things that you see around you are made up by other people, just like you and me, and they are no smarter than you. So when you realize that, you can build your own, you can make your own mark in the world, and once you do that, your life will never be the same. So that is the very first time that I heard something like that. And it's almost like it lit a candle inside me. And it made me realize that, okay, I don't have to just do what others are asking me to do. I don't have to just do what my parents or my teachers or my other friends are doing. But by the way, when I was feeling all this, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I just still knew that there's something else that's possible. So for everybody listening, whether you are just finished your college, your degree, or you're in your job, maybe your first or second job, I want you to know that this is not the end, right? In fact, there's a lot of things that are possible for you. You may or may not know what it is yet, but I just want to let you know that the most important thing is to keep your mind open to other possibilities. Now that we covered it, I want to talk about the second side to this answer, and that is the main thing that helped me to, right now do something that I'm really enjoying, and at the same time making, good income by helping other people. So people talk a lot about passion, right? Everybody say, oh, you have to discover your passion, you have to find your passion. But I personally think passion is overrated. And I'll tell you why. Because if you take the case of 10 people, only one or two people know what their passion is. The rest of the 80% have no idea. And I think it's okay to not know your passion. It's not like plucking a fruit out of a tree, right? And one thing that when I look back at my life, and I speak about this a lot of times, I think one of the most important thing is to know what we're curious about. So
Mm-hmm.
forget about your passion if you don't know what your passion is. find what you are curious about. It could be music, it could be bodybuilding, it could be traveling, whatever. So follow that curiosity and learn more about that topic that interests you. And just do it from a place where you're detached to any outcome. Like it's not like you're doing it because you want to achieve something. In the beginning, you may not know what the passion is. So just follow the curiosity and keep doing it until you find something that you're like, oh, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to explore this more. I wonder who else is there who has done this. And when you reach that place, you can learn from other people, look at other people's success story, look at other people's failures so that you can learn from them. So, in summary, I would say that find something that you're curious about and follow it long enough so that it leads you to find your passion. I hope
Wow,
I
that's
answered.
yeah. You answered my question and some more.
Okay.
um and I definitely agree with you on the passion thing, because yeah, that is a big kind of narrative out there. But as
Yeah.
you said, it comes from people who have kind of treaded the journey, taken themselves out of that box and began to slowly, through years of trying different things and understanding themselves, discovered that. So I think it puts a lot of pressure on someone when you just say, first you gotta find your passion, and then you gotta start
Yeah.
doing it. So you'll be like, okay, I don't know. So I don't think it would not be wise for me to do anything. So you could like kind of find yourself stuck in that position. So I
Yeah.
definitely agree with what you said there. And now, just tagging along with that, with whatever you said. And I would like to kind of open this dimension of alignment, because this whole thing is this whole conversation is about aligning yourself with
Mm.
your work. And I want to ask you, where does that fit for you, or does it make any sense at all? And how would you see that helping someone at this stage of their lives?
Yeah. Yeah. Very good question. So, this is quite a broad topic, and I do not claim that I'm an expert at this, but I would say that to a large extent, I have found answers to many things that I wanted to find alignment about. Okay, so let me just give a different perspective to people listening to this. So I'd like all of you to think of what you call life, right? Basically, when you talk about life, it's a few different things. It's your family, it's your relationships, it's your career or your business, it's your wealth, it's your health, your emotional intelligence, and your personal development. These are kind of like different areas of life. So if you look at anyone who has done something really great in any area of life, could be in business, could be in sports, could be any area, it's there's one thing that is common in everything, and that is that they are doing something that makes a positive difference in other people's lives, right? So if you think about somebody who is a leader in technology, for example, Elon Musk or Steve Jobs, anyone, right? If you think about somebody who has done a really good job in sports, let's say Messi or Ronaldo, inspired so many young professionals and still continue to do so. So the work they've done, right, that has brought some kind of positive change and transformation in other people's lives. So to me, when we talk about alignment, the most important thing is that first we need to understand the work that we do, whether it's in a company or a business, it has an impact on other people's lives, whether you recognize that or not. Okay, that's a different thing, but the work that we all do, we are all interconnected, right? So for example, right now I'm sitting in Vietnam, I'm sharing what I've learned, the things that I worked with you, and the people listening, they're all from Nepal. Maybe there's one person who understands something and has a breakthrough about something, and he or she decides to do something about it. That can impact not just her, but the people around her and the people that are outside of that boundary, right? So to me, the first step to alignment is to understand that the work that we do impacts other people. Now, the second part of this is to give ourselves enough chance to find the thing that we feel, most aligned about. So let me share a story with you. So a while ago, I said that I did my engineering many years ago. So I graduated in 2014, and when I just finished my mechanical engineering, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I applied for 11 different companies, and I got rejected by all of them. And my close friends, the three of my close friends, they all got two jobs, not just one. So you can imagine, in Nepal and India, we have similar culture. So you can imagine what kind of conversations must have happened in my home, what my parents would have told me, right, and what other people think about me. So that was a tough time. But fortunately or unfortunately, I mean, looking back, I think it's good that I didn't get the job. But anyway, after that, I applied to go for master's degree. 8 months into my master's, I dropped out of my master's. And then for a few months, I didn't have a job. Then I got my first job, which was in a factory which manufactures railway equipment. So I worked there, and that's the first and the last job I had, which had something to do with engineering. So working there for 1 month and a half, I quit that job, and through a contact of mine, I got a job in New Delhi to work in a call center. So I went from being an engineer to work at night shift in a call center in Delhi. Main reason just because that paid me enough to take care of myself. And the interesting thing was, I was learning other skill sets. I was learning to improve my English. English is not my first language, it's an acquired skill. So I was learning to talk to people from abroad because we had customers from America and Canada mainly. And then 7 months into that job, I quit that job. I came back and I did a few other courses, and I went to Thailand to become an English teacher. And I worked as an English teacher for a year. And after that, I learned about coaching. I learned about training. Then I did my certifications in coaching and training. Then I became a coach in 2017. So if you look at this journey, it's not a straight line, right? And if you look at anyone who's done anything significant, more often than not, it's not a straight line. It's trying out different things, seeing what works and what doesn't work. So the reason I'm sharing this is for people to know that for most people, for some of us, it could be easy to know what we want to do. But for most people, we have to give enough chances to ourselves to try and find what feels aligned with the work that we do. So for me, when I started to do coaching and training, I never thought that I would start my own business. And I never thought that, like, many things that I'm doing today is helping my clients, and I'm grateful for that. I didn't know that these things would be possible, but it only became possible because I gave myself enough chances and tried different things. And for me, what I find alignment and meaning is in, like, helping people through being a coach, trainer, and speaker. And for somebody else, helping a people and making a difference could be a different medium. Maybe they want to start an NGO, or it could be starting a technology company, whatever that might be. Like I said, at the end of the day, whatever we do, it impacts other people. So, like I said, just to summarize everything, the first step to finding alignment, in my opinion, is to know that the work that we do affects other people. And the second step is to figure out and understand ourselves. What is it that we feel aligned doing? Is it in a job, in a good position, or is it starting a business? Is it becoming a politician? Is it becoming, a startup founder? It's different for different people, right? So many people think that you have to become a coach or a trainer just to help other people. It's not true. It's just one of the ways to do it. If that is what inspires you, then you become a coach and trainer. But if something else inspires you, politics or whatever, then you try. But stay in it long enough to find answers. It's not like anything to do, but it's definitely worth it at the end.
Yeah, that's really awesomely put, and I could definitely sense, like, because you used examples, because you shared with us your story. I think it makes more sense of how that whole picture looked like, because, like you said, alignment could be a very a vague word in some sense, but I think with the story and the process, the first step you took, the second step you took, I think it makes more sense, and it makes it more grounding in that way.
Yeah.
So a couple of things I would like to ask you on that. What are things that support us in this journey, and what are
Hmm.
the things that do not support us when we now decide to open ourselves up and follow our curiosity, or follow what we feel is important to us.
Yeah. So let me start with what doesn't support us, okay? Because that's
Sure.
easy to do.
Yeah.
So, uh, people listening, right? I want you guys to think about your closest friends,
Mm,
and the people that you spend your most time, you like spend your time the most with, right? It could be your friend, mainly your friends, and then your family members. So if they are not talking about topics such as personal development, growth,
mm,
right, meaning, success, if they're not talking about that, and you are somebody who wants to go deep into these things, and they're not talking about it, you're definitely in the wrong group,
mm,
and that doesn't support us. So, and I mean, when I first got started in this journey, I remember when I went back to India, when I had a break from Thailand, I went back to India and I met my closest friends. And I was so
mm.
excited to tell them, hey guys, you know what? I learned this thing called NLP. I did this. I mean, you might have done the same thing, right? So,
Yeah.
and I talked to them, and they were like, it's as if they got an electric shock. They were like, no reaction, no emotion, nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can't these guys understand how amazing this is? And
Mm,
like they did, not only did they not encourage me or support me, they started to give me advice on why I should not be doing that. And they were like, oh, you know what, you're changing too many things, you were doing this, you're doing that, you're doing teaching, and now you're going to
mm,
this. Stay in one place long enough, otherwise you won't be able to be settled in life. And
mm,
the friend that told me this, he was in one city with one company for more than 3 years at the time, and he was still not settled in
mm.
whatever definition that might be.
That
So
might be.
the thing is, that day I learned that many people who give us advice on what we should do, they don't do it themselves in their life.
Mm. Yeah.
And if your friends are discouraging you, okay, I mean, I'm not saying that you should distance yourself from your friends.
Mm,
I'm saying that as you grow, in your life and you explore different things, it's possible that you and your friends may have different interests, and that's definitely okay. And the people that I'm talking about, I still have a good relationship with those friends. It's just that the topics that I'm most passionate about talking, we never have this kind of conversation. It's always
mm.
about something.
Yeah.
So I realized, okay, this is a different group of people. So over the years, I've had the chance to meet and network with a lot of like-minded individuals, like somebody like you, right? So when we first met in Bangkok, we had an instant connection because we felt we
Sure.
think about the same things. We want the same things, right?
Mm,
So, what doesn't serve us is definitely being in a group of people, with a group of people
mm,
who do not have similar kind of interest, and
mm,
they might be trying to demotivate you. So, if that is the
mm,
case with you, find people and go into new circles and try to develop new connections with people who have a
mm,
similar interest. And these days, it is much easier than before. With social media and Facebook and other things, it's quite easy to be in a group where there are people with similar interests. Now, what does help us? Let me share some things that work for me. So, number one, I think, in my opinion, it has to start with us taking personal responsibility, right? So, if you want to go in a certain direction, it is up to us to make it happen. So we cannot like blame other people and our parents and the government or whatever, and say that I'm not able to do this because of this person or this person or this reason, right? So we have to take personal responsibility. Now, number two, I would say, is to know exactly what we want. So it's like, so for example, you're in Nepal, it's close to Himalayas. So let's take the case of Mount Everest. If somebody wants to summit Everest, you don't do it like this, right? You go from camp to camp. So The second thing I would say is like try to break down what you want to achieve into small steps. So be clear about, okay, what's the first thing that I need to do, and then focus only on that. Don't worry about anything else. Just focus only on that. Know what exactly you need to do. Like for example, when I wanted to become a coach, and when you wanted to become a coach, the first step was to finish the certification, right? And then we did the training, we had the assignments, and to finish that was the first step. So similarly, whatever you want to do, know what the first step is. Do only that. Now, again, like repeat the same process for the other steps. And if you don't know what those steps are, find people who have taken that journey before you and try to reach out to them, and many people will be happy to help you out. Now, I would say the third thing also, which is necessary as we grow, as we like go on this journey, right, of self development or growth or whatever, our biggest fears will show up, our
Mm.
biggest demons will show up. So it's not possible for us to grow and to expand without overcoming our biggest fears. And and it's not going to be easy. It'll terrify you. And I'm telling you, like even now, I don't think anyone is perfect, right? Whether like success and everything is always a comparison. There's always somebody above us in terms of whatever achievement. There's always somebody who might be slightly behind us. So when we get to the next level, there's a different set of fears, different set of anxiety, right? And it's true for everybody. For me, it's the same thing. But the important thing is that we recognize what those things are and do what is necessary to overcome those things and keep going to the next levels. So I think those are the things that I would share. And again, like people watching this, the one thing that I would say over and over again is take it one step at a time. Like nobody can achieve something great in one day. It's
Mhm.
a result of staying consistent with it and being committed enough for a
Mm.
long enough time period.
Mm.
Like 2 days ago, I saw a quote from one of my friends on Facebook. I don't know if he wrote it or he found it from somewhere. And the quote said something like this, that success is the result of not quitting for a long enough time period.
Mm.
So I really like that. So I think it's the same thing for all of us. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Aki. That was really really nice. I
Yeah.
think you
You're welcome.
covered. I think I just kind of kind of just track back on what you said. I think the
Mm-hmm.
first thing was about taking personal responsibility. The
Yeah.
second thing was knowing what you want exactly, and
Yeah.
begin to like break them down into smaller chunks so that it's easier for you to understand. It's easier for you
Yeah.
to actually commit to those actions.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is find people who have taken those steps or reached to that kind of place or position, and go and talk to them, have a conversation, and also you need to be prepared. I think that was the last thing you said, because uh, now that you have opened things, the doors up, the doors are open to the goodies and the demons as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that was really nicely put, and I loved the sequence of how you did it. Um, let's talk about the role of personality. The
Yeah.
role of personality in the kind of work we do, in the kind of careers we want to choose. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So when you talk about personality, like what is your definition for personality?
My definition of personality would be, something very similar to MBTI, like
Mm.
if the nature, our nature in terms of introvert or extrovert, or do we like to sense things, or do we? It's a revision, right? Or do we like to intuit things? Are we a feeler? Are we a thinker?
Yeah.
Or how do we like to organize things, or just go like that? I'm like
Yeah.
that, so uh, you know, so or
I
from that.
was like that.
I am also, yeah, yeah. I'm working on it.
Okay. Okay. So
Definitely.
let me debunk a popular
Mm.
myth when we talk about personality, right?
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, most people, and I had the same belief as well. When you talk about personality, most people think it's about your appearance. It's
Mm.
about whether you're good looking or not, whether you have
Yeah.
white skin or not. I mean,
Yeah.
those things, I'm not going to say that they're not
Mhm.
important, but
Mm.
I'm going to say that they're not the most important things. If you're blessed with, good height and everything, good for
Mm.
you.
Mm.
But I have seen countless examples of people who don't fit into that description,
Mm.
but
Mm.
they still have done amazing things in the world,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
Like, for
Mm.
example, I know this guy. Maybe you also know him. He's a popular motivational speaker, Nick Vujicic, or I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
his.
yeah. Yeah, he's a role model.
Yeah, yeah. So he was born with no hands and no
Yeah,
legs, right? And
exactly.
that
Yeah,
is like an epitome of what you can do,
yeah.
in spite of not having
Good.
what most people have. Yeah. So anyway, coming back to your question,
Mm.
I would say that there could be, yeah, it's a good question. It makes me think. So the
Mm.
role of personality in our work, I think that it helps us to a certain extent to
Mm.
understand about
Mm-hmm.
MBTI or any other profiling.
Mm. Profiling. Yeah.
And I also think that it helps. So okay, so I have to be careful how to answer this. Um, yeah, to be honest, I feel a bit stuck.
So yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
but I'll just try to share what I have in my mind anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The role
Mm-hmm.
of personality, I think that this has been my experience and the people that I've
Mm.
learned. For me, right,
Mm.
the definition of a good personality is
Mm.
mainly about two things.
Mm.
Number one
Mm.
is authenticity,
Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm.
being
Mm.
authentic. And
Mm.
being authentic does not mean that you're not strong or powerful. Being
Mm.
authentic means that you have enough confidence in yourself to show the
Mm.
world who you are. You
Mm.
might not have all the skills yet, but that's all
Mm.
right. It's important to show who we truly are,
Mm.
to in whatever area that we are working on.
Mm.
I mean, in today's world, especially with social media, there are a lot of fake people. Social media is mostly what people show is
Mm.
fake stuff, right?
Yes. Yes.
And there are like these guys who, when I think about them, my blood boils. These guys who show their Ferrari and their
Mm.
Lamborghini and say, "Oh, you're not good enough. Look at my
Mm.
life." Like I hate
Mm.
those people, right?
Mm.
So it's I think for me the most important thing is being authentic when you talk about
Mm.
personality. And the
Mm.
second thing I would say is about being certain. So
Mm-hmm.
have develop the skill set of being certain. What does that mean?
Mm.
So let's just say that you have an idea and
Mm.
you really believe in that idea and you want to talk to your
Mm.
boss or your superior about that idea. So when
Mm.
you go and speak to him or her, it may not be a good idea in that moment, but still, if you believe in it strong enough, I think that it's important for us to take that certainty, feel certain about what we think is really good. I mean, in our understanding, and communicate that with other people. At the same time, be open to feedback. You may be accepted and you may not be accepted. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, those two things are very important about a good
Mm.
personality: being authentic,
Mm. Mm.
and having certainty in our idea, in our
Mm.
vision about what we want to
Mm.
create. I mean,
Mm.
you can think about many experiences, many moments when you and I worked together in
True.
Thailand.
True. True.
Yeah, like you had many ideas,
Yeah.
and some of them were good, and some of them were not so good. Same thing with
Mm-hmm.
me. The
True.
countless
True.
moments where I was so excited about something, but it was not a practical thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, those two things I would say. I don't want to talk about MBTI or personality
Mm.
profiling because
Mm.
I think it's too deep.
Mm. True.
And,
True.
I think they do have an influence
Mm.
on our
Yeah.
personality, but I just
Mm.
think it's too broad a topic. And
True. I agree.
frankly, I'm
I
not an
agree.
expert in that area, so
I
I don't want to go there.
I agree. I agree. And I wanted to bring this up because it. I think it really helps, kind of,
Yeah,
because it gives you like and just for example, if you just go online and do like a MBTI profiling,
yeah,
once you get your result, it will actually like show up like different kind of work that you could your aligns with your personality. So, for
yeah,
example, in my case, the ENFP, I would have things like counselor, actually, surprising, right? And social worker and teacher. So those things kind of like I kind of already kind of sense those things as I was going through, and it really helps that okay, even this profiling kind of shows me the same direction. So it could be otherwise, it could be there to validate you, or could be there to guide you. But I think I definitely agree with you on the thing that it can be very deep, in the sense that you would require a lot of time and attention to kind of understand the basics of it. So I think the aspect of authenticity and certainty really, I think that is a good place to start, to be really
Yeah.
honest with
Yeah.
you. Okay. So I think you picked out a really nice point there, as you were speaking about, we have these great ideas in our mind, and we feel really good about them sometimes, but then life, reality has its own thing, right?
Yeah.
And I have really struggled with that, to be really honest with you. um, and to actually see the world as it is, and how things work. I think that also plays a key role. And I think because a lot of the people here as well can relate to that, I would love for you to talk about, maybe perhaps maybe through your story as well, how you kind of navigated through balancing the practical aspects of life with um,
The
with the
dreamy
feeling,
stuff.
passion, with the dreaming stuff. Yeah, I think it would be a
Oh,
great thing
man.
to talk about. Maybe I'll just snip this part, and this can go viral.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. This is such an important topic because for a very long period of time, right? I mean, we
Mm,
talked about profiling.
mm,
Like until I learned about. Just give me one moment, Sumit.
sure, sure.
Something is acting up. Yeah.
No
Okay.
worries.
Now it's all right. So, yeah. What's an example? Okay, let me give a classic example. So, and I'm sure that you remember this because you and I were working together during
Okay,
this
cool.
time. So, when I first started my journey as a coach,
Mm-hmm.
uh, so I mean, some people may understand this, some people may not, but I'll just give a different example later.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just proceed with this now. So when I first became a coach, the one of my really good mentors and somebody who really supported me a lot, he told me that okay, Aki, coaching is just one thing. In order to coach people, you have to get
Mm-hmm.
clients. So you have to go and meet people. You have to have prospects. You have to have leads. You have to talk to people. Do free coaching sessions. Do meetings with people. And I'm like, what is he talking about? I was so full of myself. You know this because you were there.
I was there. I was right there.
Yeah. So I had this thing in my head that okay, I'm really passionate about helping people, and I think I'm good as a coach. I'm not saying I'm the best, but I think I'm good as a coach. And I thought, okay, that's enough. I had
Mm,
all this dream about coaching a lot of people. Making good money, being a coach, people recognizing, people
yeah,
changing their life,
yeah,
and the reality was far from it. I
absolutely.
mean, I did get a few clients, but
Mm,
it's very less, right? It's
true,
very less.
true.
So it was not until I I would say not until I started my own business that I
Mm,
realized the importance of prospecting, the importance
mm,
of generating leads. And
mm,
that is where, for the first time ever, I had a very clear idea about balancing between the dream in my head and what I practically needed to do. So
mm,
so just let me give you a different perspective. People who do not understand about coaching and business may not relate with this example, so I'll give
mm.
a different example.
I
So
like that.
if I had to like put it in one sentence, I would say if the dreams that we have in our head are compromising our daily necessities, I
Mm,
think it's time for us to have a practical view on it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like for example, we all need money, right? Whatever country we
mm,
are in, we all need
mm,
money. So, if you
mm,
have a dream of doing something and you're only doing that, like doing things in your dream
mm,
and not taking the practical action to make it happen, that means that you're not earning any money from that dream, whether it's being a coach or starting a business or whatever. So I think that if it compromises our daily necessities, which is like our daily life, earning a decent income, food, shelter, loan payment, whatever, if those things are not being taken care of, I think that you cannot just stay in the dream.
Mm, mm,
So I would like, so it's like this, right? So if you're naturally a person who dreams a lot, like you and me,
mm,
I'm naturally like
mm.
that. But
Yeah, definitely.
now I'm not saying it's completely all right. Even there are certain areas where I still need to improve, but to a large extent I've been able to come back to reality, and
Mm,
do the things that practically need to happen. And the crazy thing is that that practical thing, right, we may struggle with that a lot. It may not be a comfortable thing for us to do, but it's important to recognize that in order to make that dream a reality, we still have to do certain things in the practical world to make that possible for us. So whatever area, the people listening, whatever area you're in, like I said, if your dream is compromising your daily necessities, I think it's a classic indicator that you need to come back to reality and do things in the practical world to make it happen.
mm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a great way to put it, man. I think
yeah,
because you, I think talked about a general example. I think people relate to it, and how I relate to it is, like when I first came here, like there are so many companies that are offering me, sales work and
yeah,
some in the training and coaching. And I was like, what? What are you talking about, man? So. And like you said, definitely the first few years, working with I work with many clients as well, and but then I slowly realized that the industry, the market here is still very nascent, and people are still need a lot of education towards it. So I started to kind of like, then I started to think, I need to kind of be open to other things as well.
yeah,
And now I'm at a point like, if I choose to stay in Nepal, I will have to definitely get a second job, and
yeah,
I'm at a place where I accept that, and I'm happy with it because it helps me to work on other skills as well.
yeah,
But the fact and the reason why I keep still just doing this, taking this action today as well, is not to lose that spark, because I
yeah,
know the possibility it has, and the energy and the power that it has. And
yeah,
I've seen myself kind of flourish when I'm doing this. The naturally how I am able to my skills that just naturally to come up when I'm doing coaching or training,
yeah,
or even just doing podcasts. So I think one of the main reasons for my audience as well is that, yeah, maybe there are lots of people who are in a job, like you said, maybe a second job, but if we don't allow ourselves to kind of dream also, we'll not really know. And maybe some people are okay with that,
yeah,
but then maybe, and many are not. So I mean, that is a big part of why I want to do what I want to do, continue with that.
yeah,
So I think that was a great sharing on that whole part. And I think I want to wrap this up by talking about how does meditation, or how does, let's just put it simply, let's not bring up bigger terms here, just the practice of meditation, how does that help you in your overall journey?
yeah. So first of all, I have to say that I mean, when you talk about meditation, most people think about like closing our eyes and sitting.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Um, yes, that is meditation. And
Mm.
if you're only talking about that, then I'll be very honest. I don't do it like every day. It's not an
Mm-hmm.
everyday habit.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
what I've
Mm-hmm.
come to realize is meditation, the term meditation basically means union, something like that. It means like
Mm-hmm.
becoming aware of, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've come to realize that even in everyday activities like brushing your teeth or
Mm.
cooking, or you're taking
Mm.
shower,
Mm.
if you if you are able to bring your mind to a certain topic and keep your attention there, or just keep your
Mm.
attention on your breath,
Mhm,
I think that
mm,
is also meditation.
mhm,
So
mhm,
how does this help? I'll give an example based on my understanding.
mm.
So our mind is like, it's a monkey mind, right? It keeps
True, true.
jumping from one thing to the other. And
Absolutely.
so it's like this. Let's just say that, okay, let me give an example. Let's imagine that, okay, this is a phone, right? So let's imagine it was possible for us to keep our attention on the different things that make up a phone, which is glass,
Mm-hmm.
plastic,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Imagine that it was possible for you to just focus on those things for 5 minutes. And if you did that, you would have a phone, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you knew, okay, you wanted a phone, and you knew that if you focus on these things for 5 minutes straight without getting distracted, you would get a phone.
Mm.
Everybody would have that, right?
Definitely.
It's our mind is it works like that. So if we keep our
Mm.
attention and focus on one thing for a long enough period of
Mm.
time, um, it's like we talk about habits.
Mm.
Our thinking patterns are also habits. So if you
Mm.
change
Yes.
our life in
Mm.
certain area, whatever area it might be, it has to start with the way, like it's had to start with how we think about that area. And I
Mm.
think this is where meditation plays a huge role, because I
Mm.
think it helps. I mean, not I think, it's proven
Mm.
that it enables you to calm your mind and be able to improve your focus and not get distracted by
Mm.
all the shiny things.
True. True.
Because what you achieve, what you attract, is a result of you having a focused, a vibrational state, a certain
Mm.
vibration, and all of those things are connected to being meditative and
Mm-hmm.
keeping the attention on one thing for a long period of time.
True. True. I think the best example right now would be this conversation, uh, altogether, because definitely when we started out, there were maybe a few things I as a host, I had different things like I wanted to ask this, but then as we started to like conversate and talk, and then a natural um, flow began to happen. And I
Yeah,
think especially because we also have a very good rapport, I think that helps as well. But I think that is kind of an example of how it happens in everyday life as well. As you said,
yeah,
most people see it as something you close your eyes and you do it maybe 1 hour a day. But I think the real meditation begins when we actually open our eyes after that 1 hour.
yeah. I
That
mean,
is
yeah,
the,
I do agree with that. And like I said, right, I don't do that. I should be probably
true.
doing that. I used to
Helps.
do that, but right now I don't really do that, to be
Mm,
honest.
mm,
But I completely understand what you're saying, and because I've
mm,
experienced that thing from time to
mm.
time,
True,
because of
true,
whatever reason, we recently moved to
true,
Vietnam and all that. I
true,
mean,
true,
those are excuses. I know I have to get back
true,
to it,
true,
but
true.
I don't do that practice right
Mm-hmm.
now for a
Mm,
few months. But
mm.
it's super powerful, and I completely agree with what you said. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, but again, like I think because you're so much aligned and you have that, it all like meets at a point inside your body and you're focusing. I think that is meditative in its own way. But I
yeah,
think, like you said, I think what happens if you also add that part, I think that dimension. I think you will be more connect. It'll be easier for you to connect to your intuition, and I think it could help in decision making. But that's
yeah. I
just
mean,
my thing.
I would just say this, right? So people who have a hard time understanding about meditation and all. I mean,
Mm,
and I just think that it is most people who talk about meditation and the teachers. I
mm,
don't think that they know how to teach it properly.
absolutely,
I think
100%.
that the way they're talking about it is
Yeah,
not inspiring enough for people. And
true, true.
here is
Yeah.
why. Here is my take on it. I think that if somebody wants to know why this is so important and all that,
Mm,
I would say the starting place is focus, because
yes, absolutely,
everything in our life is about focus, right?
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
like one of the things I learned from Tony Robbins was this: there are three
Mm,
patterns of focus. Number
mm.
one is what you have
What
versus
you have
what you don't have.
versus what you don't
So
have.
if you're focusing on what you don't have in your life, it doesn't matter whatever all the blessings and everything good in your life, you will still be depressed because it's focusing too much on what you don't have. Now the
Mm.
second pattern of focus is what you have versus what you don't have, right? Oh, did I already say that?
Yes, yes, you said
Okay.
that.
So the second thing is what you can control versus what you cannot control.
Mm-hmm.
So, in any given, I mean, we all go through challenges, but in any given moment, there are certain things we can control and certain things we can't control. So, if we just focus on what we can control and get that done,
Mm-hmm.
things will slowly start to change. And the third pattern of focus is the past versus the future, right? So
Mm-hmm.
most people, I mean, it's true for all of us, I think, at many levels, that we either focus too much on what happened in the past or worry about the future. But the important thing is that we only have the present moment, right? So what we do in the present moment is what dictates our future. um, yeah, like I said, like, even I consider myself, even now, as a student of all these things.
Mm-hmm.
I have my own struggles from time to
Mm,
time, but
absolutely.
knowing about these things and bringing my attention back to these things helped me a lot and helped me to
Mm,
navigate those struggles. Yeah.
mm. Wow, that's yeah. I think that's a great place to kind of wrap everything up. I think we are also kind of reaching the 1 hour mark, and I would definitely I can talk to you for hours, man. To be really honest, but I think with time and everything, I think we have to be
Absolutely.
man, bringing the practical aspect, right? So yeah, man. I think anything you want to leave us with, or any thing you want to share before we kind of wrap this whole thing up.
Yeah, absolutely. I would just leave with one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you talk about career, we talk about career
Mm-hmm.
alignment or success, personal development, all of these things. There's many things, right? If you go on YouTube or internet, you can learn many things, and many
Mm-hmm.
people say different things. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, the most important factor has been following my curiosity, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
would say that, in my opinion, that's what everybody should be doing. Like, it doesn't matter what
100%.
other people are saying. If you
Mm,
just know, okay, this is something I'm curious about, so go deeper into that, learn more about that, find people who know about that, find people who are talking about that. If you can go to some events on that topic, go there, right? So go into those kind of areas and see where it takes you. And like I said, like, do it in a way that is a non-detached way. It's not like at the end of the week you have to know your passion. It doesn't work like that, right? So I would say, I would encourage everybody listening to know what you're curious about and follow your curiosity long enough so that it leads you to wonderful places.
Thank you so much. I think that's a great advice, and I think for me as well, I mean, I cannot say how much I agree with that, because my journey as well is kind of an expression of that. I just chose to follow what I'm curious about, and I think before that, for me, I think it was also like going deeper within myself and just kind of understand how my mind works and what is the content in my mind, because
Yeah,
when there is so much going on, so much disturbances, you cannot really focus on what what you're curious about. So for me personally, I think the process of cleansing, the process of like releasing some of the bad stuff I had, that helped me out. And then I think naturally I kind of like levitated towards like, how did it all happen, how am I feeling so good? So
yeah.
great advice, and it's always a pleasure talking to you. And
Yeah, man.
yes, and it's always, at the end of the conversations we have, I always leave with, a big smile on my face, and a good of energy, a lot of energy in my heart. And I also hope that this was also fruitful for you, fruitful to you in terms of like you going to your own mind as well, through the
Absolutely.
questions. And we, as coaches, we know how powerful questioning can be. So
Yeah.
again, I want to like fold my hands
Thank
and
you.
say thank you and namaste. And yes, we will have more of this as we go along, and let's see where the curiosity takes us.
Thank you for organizing this, and I look forward to many more such amazing conversations in the future.
Thank you, okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right, then. Bye bye.
Bye bye.